Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I've got two very terrifying encounters that I really want to share with you. Actually, I'm very excited about the first one, and I'll explain why after the links. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help this channel to continue to grow and go. All of those links are in the description below. I also have a second channel for creepypasta, fan fiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that, well, they really don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything that you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. Now, I've taken enough of your time. Let's get on with today's upload. Shall we? So, yesterday, I was just hanging out, waiting for Lorianne to get in touch with me about the amazing interview we had yesterday. And I want to thank everybody in the comment section. You guys really rock. It is a terrifying encounter that she shared with us. And a lot of PTSD is heard while she tells the story. So, needless to say, I get an email. And I'm not going to disclose the name or area, but it's from a sheriff. And I'm going to be speaking with him by the latest Friday. But he sent me this encounter. Now I'm hoping that due to the fact that I do not disclose names and places, that he will come on and share this in his words, because an encounter like this can only be told by the person it had happened to. The magnitude of terror is insane. Here's that encounter. I'm scheduled to retire in 6 months, but I took a leave of absence shortly after my encounter, which will postpone my retirement. I've heard stories and gotten calls for years, and I chalked it up to misidentification or Sasquatch, which I have seen plenty in my career. My encounter happens as I was responding to a call of who I knew the residence of, the caller, which I can't disclose, due to a tragic mauling that happened years ago, which my supervisor at the time told me it was one of the worst crimes he had ever seen. So the call was a couple of guys stalked by a couple of large coyotes as they were trying to finish loading their truck for their customer for their move. I reached the property off of Old Taylor Road. It was 8 p.m., relatively getting dark. I had my lights on, so the area was well lit. I exit my car, AR in hand, went to the shed where they barricaded themselves in, was able to get them to come out. I asked them about the resident that lives here. I was told that they were moving, and they hadn't been on the property for days. They asked if I could stay as they finished up. It'd be about 30 minutes, so I obliged. They finished up and headed out. I walked back to my patrol car, which was 20 yards away. I started getting this uneasy feeling, like I was being watched. I got into my patrol car, started my report. As I was doing that, I heard a guttural growl. I look up and see a werewolf that looked like the Van Helsing one, standing 15 feet in front of my car. I put it in reverse, and I was about to proceed. There was one in the rear. They had me boxed in and slowly approached my vehicle. My AR was less than a foot away, but was already secured, so it would have taken me a few seconds to unhinge it, and I felt it wouldn't be enough time before they were on top of me. As it got a foot from me, I turned on the siren and placed the PA to the radio, which caused a screeching noise. It then put its raccoon-like hands over its ears and leapt off into the brush. I took off on Main Road with the emergency lights on and speeding all the way back. I always thought that victims were not seeing what they said, convincing them that it was something else. To everyone, I am truly sorry for what you have gone through. Now, when I opened the email and read this encounter, it blew me away. It's validation is what that is. That right there is a sheriff, active duty, confirming what we already know is true. And what a terrifying encounter. I'm not sure as of yet where the state is. Or if I'm allowed to share that when I know. But when I speak to him on the phone later this week, I will definitely find that info out. And like I said, I'm really hoping that he comes on and shares what he has seen. Obviously, he's seen some Bigfoot. And I'd like to hear a little more info on his visual encounter with the Dogman or werewolf. But yeah, that's some creepy stuff right there. On to part 2. One night I was out along the road that goes past my house. We're a pretty rural area out here along West Virginia 5, which parallels the Little Kanawha River from Elizabeth to Grantsville. But animals here are always the same. Until the late 90s, the state DNR let coyotes loose, and in the early 80s, wild turkey. Now they are releasing wild elk, yet there is no sightings of these creatures. I have heard black panthers and even seen 2 kittens dead. At my friend's house, her dad had chased and treed the kittens, but the mother got away. To this day, West Virginia DNR refuses to state that black panthers exist in West Virginia. This night I saw something I never thought I would see. 2 huge wolves that were bigger than anything I'd ever seen before. I know people who own wolves, and I've been around them. When they left on vacation, I even fed their pet wolves. So I know how big they can get, but these were no regular wolves. They were twice as big as me, and they gave this eerie feeling. They walked off the hillside and came out of the foggy mist. Their eyes had a glow of yellow even before I turned my phone's flashlight on them. Yes, I had my phone in hand. Why no pictures? Because I was scared stiff, and was just able to look and see these 2 wolves, with one being smaller than the other. Both were very skinny, hippie, or one could say bony, gray with black color markings around their eyes and ears, brown down their backs, and gray bushy tail. Tail as long as my leg. The heads were way bigger than my own. Glowing yellow eyes looking right at me, slowly walking past me, both moving together and moving their heads when needed to keep me in view. Then they crossed the road and disappeared into the riverbank. Across the river on the hillside were coyotes barking and yapping. That was until those 2 wolves crossed the river to their side. Dead quiet then. No noise at all. No bugs, no birds, no coyotes. When my heart started again, I ran as fast as my legs would carry me. I posted what I saw on my Facebook page. Many said they were just northern wolves. No wolves here in West Virginia, not here. That haven't been brought here as pets. These 2 were not pets. I think the smallest, the one closest towards me, was female. I also feel she protected me from the male, the biggest one. She nudged him to go on. I thank her for that. He probably would have killed me easily. They both could have with one bite to my throat. It's not often I venture out further than my yard nowadays. This property has many of the supernatural events happen here. But that night, I truly feel I saw a werewolf and his mate. I know what I saw, and it scared me so bad that I have become afraid of the dark, even on my own property that I grew up on. It has changed me in ways I can't explain. I've become more nature-minded. I worship nature and the power she holds. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here today. I know those creatures exist, and I give them a wide path to travel, always respected and mindful of their presence. Well, there you have it, guys. Two definitely terrifying encounters. Both extremely interesting and terrifying at the same time. I'm honestly looking forward to speaking to this gentleman later this week. I know I've got something lined up for every day of this week. I think we're going to probably get together on Friday. I did have something different lined up for today, but my day went off way crazy. I was supposed to have an interview with a gentleman from Scotland. I narrated his encounter about a year and a half ago. Good friend of the channel. But just, you know how life is. You plan it, and all of a sudden there's there's something always steering you in a different direction. And that was a complete mind blank. But yeah, so like I said, I'm looking forward to talking to this gentleman and hoping that he'll come on, because there's a different way when you hear a story narrated. It's good. You know, whether you like my voice or you don't. But the story is just so much different and real when it's told by the actual person. Because, yeah, I can try to put the feeling into it. But no matter what, no matter how great of a voice actor, narrator, whatever you are, you can't put that raw emotion. Just like Lorianne when she was talking about her encounter last night. It doesn't get any more real than that. You know, she let out a lot last night, and I am glad that she was able to share and comfortable enough to share. And a lot of that is you guys in the comment section being so supportive, you know. I don't really like when I get a thank you from people, because I'm not really doing anything. I'm just giving everyone a platform to share their encounters. No one special. I, have a YouTube channel. I don't do anything very special at all. I take cryptozoology very seriously. I take encounters seriously, and I take people at their word, because I wasn't there. And I think that's another key important thing, is that we have to take people at their words. Because otherwise, we're just like our parents when we were young, and we told them that we saw something. And they said, no, you didn't. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great night tonight, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, all right? And with that, farewell.